Welcome to Chilling Records. America's highways and quiet suburban streets are crossed by millions of vehicles every single day. For most of us, driving is just a routine part of life. But for law enforcement officers patrolling these roads, there is no such thing as a normal day. At any given second, a routine traffic stop can escalate into a horrifying crime scene, or a silent neighborhood can instantly transform into a disaster zone. Police dash cams are always rolling. They capture a side of reality that most people will never have to witness in their lifetimes. The unblinking eye of the camera records the exact terrifying moments when ordinary life shatters into absolute chaos. Today, we are opening the vault to examine 6 of the most deeply disturbing and shocking events ever captured on police dashcam footage. These events left the first responders entirely speechless. Prepare yourself, because what you are about to see is completely real. Our first piece of footage originates from the dashcam of rookie Delaware State Police Trooper Hassan Hollis. It was the middle of the day, and Trooper Hollis was parked quietly on a highway on-ramp. He was simply assisting a stalled vehicle, waiting for a tow truck to arrive and clear the shoulder. It was as routine as police work gets, but suddenly a red Buick Regal sped past his position. Just minutes earlier, a frantic radio dispatch had echoed through the vehicles of all officers in the area. It was a high-alert bolo. Be on the lookout. The dispatch warned officers to keep their eyes peeled for a vehicle matching that exact description. A red Buick Regal. It was directly linked to a suspected high-profile kidnapping that had investigators incredibly desperate for a lead. Trooper Hollis did not hesitate for a fraction of a second. He abandoned the stalled vehicle, jumped back into his cruiser, flipped on his sirens, and tore down the highway in pursuit of the suspect. After a tense high-speed chase, he finally closed the distance and matched the license plates. It was the car. He immediately radioed for emergency backup and initiated a high-risk traffic stop, stepping out of his vehicle with his weapon drawn and his senses fully heightened. Sitting behind the wheel of the Buick was 35-year-old Lewis Coleman. The atmosphere was incredibly tense as officers surrounded the vehicle. When police sternly questioned Coleman about whether anyone else was inside the car with him, he made a chilling, unexpected confession that made the officers' blood run cold. He calmly admitted that there was someone in the trunk. With weapons ready, police cautiously opened the trunk of the car. The horrific discovery inside was the stuff of nightmares. Crammed into the small space was a large suitcase, and inside that suitcase were the remains of missing woman Jessie Correa. As the investigation unfolded, detectives uncovered a dark and calculated plot. They discovered that Coleman had purchased that exact suitcase only a couple of days earlier at a nearby Walmart. Security footage confirmed he had also bought duct tape, surgical gloves, and safety goggles, proving this was a premeditated and horrific crime. The tragic timeline started hundreds of miles away at a bustling nightclub where Jassy was last seen alive, being lured into his vehicle. Though Lewis Coleman initially pleaded not guilty, the mountain of undeniable evidence against him resulted in a guilty verdict from a federal jury. He now sits behind bars, awaiting his final sentencing. We move forward to November 2010 in the sunny city of Clearwater, Florida. It was a beautiful, clear morning. 2 police cruisers, both equipped with active dash cams, were parked on the shoulder of North Keene Road, responding to a completely standard traffic violation. The officers were relaxed, writing up paperwork, completely unaware of what was happening directly above them. Suddenly, a small shadow falls over the road. A 4-seater airplane comes into the frame, hovering dangerously low in the sky. At first glance, it might seem like a low-flying tour plane, but within a heartbeat, it becomes terrifyingly clear that the aircraft is in severe distress. It is rapidly losing altitude, and it is heading straight down toward the officers and the busy street. The dashcam captures the heart-stopping moment the plane's right wing violently clips a tall tree during its desperate descent. The catastrophic impact causes the small aircraft to spin wildly out of control. It plummets from the sky, forcing its way down and violently crashing into the pavement right next to the officers. Just minutes prior to this terrifying crash, 61-year-old pilot Mark Allen Benedict had taken off from a nearby regional airport, accompanied by one passenger. Shortly after reaching cruising altitude, the plane's single engine began to sputter and fail. Mark desperately radioed air traffic control, his voice filled with panic, explaining that he was losing power and would not be able to make it back to the runway. With his engine completely dead and gravity pulling him down, Mark had absolutely zero options left. He was forced to turn the busy highway into an emergency landing strip. Miraculously, he chose the exact stretch of road where police were already actively controlling traffic. Despite the horrific violence of the crash and the plane being reduced to twisted metal, both Mark and his passenger defied the odds. They walked away from the wreckage with only minimal injuries, and incredibly, not a single person on the ground is harmed. Story 3. The date is October 15th, 2005. It is approximately 3 a.m., and the streets are swallowed by the pitch-black darkness of the night. Arkansas Police Corporal Randy McAdams is dispatched to investigate a reported crash near Hobo Jungle Park. As he drives his cruiser down the desolate, unlit road toward the incident, his headlights catch something highly unusual. Rolling directly across the street in front of him is a thick, unnatural-looking layer of dense, white fog. Corporal McAdams' survival instincts instantly kicked in. He knew something was terribly wrong. He brought his cruiser to a dead stop. Moments later, his dash cam recorded a scene that looks like the end of the world.
I've got some kind of chemical smell. It's slowly drifted further south.
Explosion, Hobo Jungle. We may engulfed in flames. Phil 90, all right?
10-4.
204 Central, we just had a huge explosion. We've got massive fire out here on Dudley here at the Roadway yard. All kinds of stuff on fire. Just lost power down here on the hill.
10-4.
209, you might want to back your unit up.
Get your ass out of my road. Get the hell up out of here.
The footage shows Randy frantically throwing his cruiser into reverse and backing away as fast as his car will allow. Right in front of him, the entire horizon erupts into a massive, blinding wall of fire. The initial call he received about a simple crash was entirely wrong. The violent collision of the train cars had punctured a massive transport tanker carrying propylene, a highly compressed, extremely flammable, and volatile gas. That thick white fog Randy saw creeping across the road wasn't fog at all. It was a lethal, invisible cloud of chemical vapor quietly drifting into the sleeping residential neighborhood. At that exact moment, the gas hadn't caught fire yet, but as the vapor cloud seeped into a nearby house, it found an ignition source, a simple, everyday water heater. That tiny spark ignited the entire cloud of gas in a fraction of a second, causing the apocalyptic explosion caught on the dash cam. Had Corporal McAdams driven into that fog, he and his vehicle would have been instantly vaporized. The explosion was so massive that over 3,000 residents in a 1-mile radius had to be evacuated in the middle of the night. Tragically, the single occupant inside the home where the gas ignited became the only casualty of this terrifying disaster. Story 4. Fast forward to February 18, 2022 in Shawano, Wisconsin. The winter weather was brutally unforgiving. Officer Jeff Buettner was conducting a routine highway patrol on a freezing morning. The roads were coated in black ice, a deadly, transparent layer of ice that blends perfectly with the asphalt, making it completely invisible to drivers until it is far too late. Officer Buettner was traveling at highway speeds when the freezing mist ahead of him suddenly parted to reveal a driver's ultimate nightmare. Directly in front of him, scattered across the icy highway, was a massive multi-car pileup. Dozens of vehicles had already smashed into one another. Because of the slick black ice, Officer Buettner had absolutely no friction to stop. His brakes were useless. He braced for impact as his police cruiser slammed violently into the wreckage. Before he could even catch his breath or attempt to open his door, the nightmare got worse. High-speed cars traveling blindly behind him began to crash into the rear of his police cruiser, one after another. The dashcam captures the terrifying sounds of crunching metal and shattering glass as his car is repeatedly hit. Officer Buettner was now completely trapped inside a crushed metal box. His doors were jammed shut from the multiple impacts. As the dust settled slightly, a few uninjured drivers who had managed to escape their own wrecked vehicles rushed over through the freezing cold to check on the trapped officer.
They're all right. I'm kind of trapped right here. Okay, yeah. I'm with Sean PD. I gotta I'll try and get out of here and do what I can to help you guys. I'm sorry, man. I'm trapped right now. That's okay. Hold on. Let me try and get out of my driver's door first. Can you? Can you? Nope. Nope. We got it open. You got it open?
It took 6 agonizing, claustrophobic minutes of desperate kicking and pushing before Jeff was finally able to force his driver's side door open and escape the mangled cruiser. Despite being bruised and battered himself, he didn't stop to rest. He immediately went into rescue mode, sprinting across the icy highway to help pull other stranded and bleeding drivers from their destroyed vehicles. By the time the chaos ended, an unbelievable 39 vehicles were involved in the pileup, resulting in 10 severe injuries. Story 5. In January of 2016, police in Lincoln County released a piece of dashcam footage that makes any parent's heart stop beating. It was the dead of night. Deputy Jeremy Gatney was driving his cruiser on a completely routine neighborhood patrol. The streets were silent, dark, and empty. As he slowly approached a poorly lit intersection, his headlights caught a tiny, strange obstruction right in the middle of the roadway. It was moving. Unsure of what it was, Deputy Gatney immediately slowed down, flipped on his emergency lights, and crept closer to investigate. When his high beams finally illuminated the shape, he couldn't believe his eyes. Wandering alone in the pitch-black, freezing night was an infant child. The toddler was walking aimlessly right in the middle of the street, heading straight toward the massive front bumper of the police cruiser. Deputy Gatney threw his car into park, sprinted out, and scooped the freezing child into his arms, wrapping him up to keep him warm. He immediately radioed dispatch and began a frantic search for the parents. Shortly after, the panicked mother and father were located. They were running through the neighborhood, desperately screaming for their child. An investigation later revealed that the toddler had silently slipped out of the family's house through a slightly open door while the parents were distracted for just a few moments. It took them a couple of minutes to realize the terrifying truth that their baby was gone. Child Protective Services and police thoroughly investigated the incident, but it was ultimately ruled a genuine, terrifying accident and no criminal charges were brought against the family. Our final piece of footage takes us to the morning of February 24th, 2015. Multiple panic 911 calls began flooding the switchboards from a quiet residential neighborhood in New Jersey. Residents were reporting an overwhelmingly strong, suffocating smell of natural gas lingering in the air. Knowing how deadly a gas leak can be, local police, heavy-duty firefighters, and emergency utility workers swarmed the area in minutes. They immediately suspected a massive subterranean leak and began aggressively evacuating 75 different homes in the immediate area to prevent a mass casualty event. As the crews were frantically searching the ground to locate the source of the invisible threat, a dash cam inside one of the parked police cruisers recorded the unimaginable. Without a single second of warning, a deafening, earth-shaking explosion rips through the neighborhood. The blast wave is so incredibly powerful that it completely blows a two-story home clean off its concrete foundation. The house is instantly vaporized into thousands of pieces of flying shrapnel, sending deadly debris raining down over the streets like a war zone. Thankfully, the house that exploded was undergoing heavy renovations and was completely empty of any residents at the time. However, the blast was so massive that 15 people standing outside on the street, mostly the brave firefighters and utility workers trying to find the leak, were caught in the shockwave. Many were severely injured by flying debris, and some were in such critical condition that they had to be airlifted by helicopters to nearby trauma centers. Investigators eventually discovered that a major 2-inch underground gas main had ruptured, flooding the area with flammable gas. But the chilling reality remains. What exactly caused that pipe to break and what sparked the devastating ignition is a mystery that is still unsolved to this day. Which of these disturbing dash cam moments sent a chill down your spine? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. If you want to dive deeper into more real-life mysteries, terrifying encounters, and dark breakdowns, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe to Chilling Records. Don't forget to turn on all notifications so you never miss another drop. Thank you for watching, and stay safe out there, because you never know what the unblinking eye of the camera will capture next.